mà lẹ níbẹ̀ yẹn ò nílé lóko. Ẹ sì kú dédé àsìkò yìí. Hello everyone, it's Adirunke again. I hope your day is going well. Today, I'll be addressing another essential Yorùbá phrase for travelers. And I've been making videos on this theme sequentially for a couple of weeks now. So I'm going to make this one the last for now. And then I'll address other playlists. As promised, this is how to offer a prize. So far, I've addressed how to ask for a prize or how to ask for the least price, how to ask for the price of this and that, and these and those. This time, I'll be addressing price offering. Like if somebody tells you the price of something and you want to provide an alternative price instead, how to do so. So it will be something along the lines of, will you take something naira? Èló ni 5 naira ni. Then you want to say, well, will you take 2 naira? Or something like, there's no 2 naira. Like I said in my videos years ago, I don't really like the idea that one needs to frustrate a seller. Really, if you can afford something, if they're selling the thing for 40 naira, it's a ridiculous amount in comparison to what you have. You can afford to give them that 40 naira. Paying 30 naira would not make a difference to you, or paying 20 naira will not make a difference to you. I'm of the opinion that once you pay the 40 naira that they're asking for, some traders like to extort, right? So in cases where traders are, you can tell, or perhaps you can't, but it's somewhat obvious to another person that they are trying to cheat you out of your money, then definitely you should ask for a lower price or a better bargain, obviously. But they're already giving you a ridiculous amount and you're trying to get an even more ridiculous price. I find it somewhat irritating, but that's just me. I've said it years ago and I'm still saying it. I really don't like the idea because I find that people would not mind to go to the more recently built supermarkets and pay whatever the price tag says. You know, if it's as simple as a bottle of Coke for 200 naira, they don't mind. These malls, shopping complexes and shopping marts, whatever they are called, are many times owned by people who are really well-to-do. A lot of them don't even reside in Nigeria. The people who really own the company or the most significant parts, they couldn't really care less. It's not like the business exists solely for their survival. People don't really mind paying the outrageous amounts that they want to sell items for. But as soon as Banke wants to sell a bottle of Coke and she says it's 15 naira, as soon as she says 15 naira, you want to pay 10 naira. When it's time for you to go to a big mall and show off that you're rich, then you wouldn't mind paying any ridiculous amount that they tell you it is worth. I don't find the sense in that. So I'm saying all that to say, if you can afford what people are asking for, it's obvious that they're not trying to cheat you. Don't be irritating. In cases where you'd like to offer a price, you want to ask for a better bargain, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with. This is how to say it. You would either say, Shogba something naira, or Shogba naira something. Shogba naira mewa, Shogba naira mewa, She ogba naira mewa, She ogba ogun naira. Either of the two would be what you would use depending on the number, depending on the amount. For certain numbers, the number has to come before the naira. And for certain numbers, I find the number has to come after the naira. For some, it's before the nairas. For some, it's after the naira. This statement, Shogba naira something, Shogba something naira, is not equivalent to will you take something naira. These first parts are not will you take. Sheogba naira mewa, Shogba ogota naira. You know, really depending on the number. It's not perfectly equivalent to will you take something naira. If you really want to say will you take something naira, Shogba naira something is what you would hear more often. But it's not really the same thing as this. If you want to say this statement, then she emagba naira something, or she emagba something naira. That's the honorific form. She omagba naira something, or she wagba something naira. She omagba ogún náírà. Ṣé o máa gba náírà mẹ́wàá? Or you could say, ṣé wàá gba ogún náírà? Ṣé wàá gba náírà mẹ́wàá? So you could either use o máa or wàá, and I'll break it down. Ṣé o máa, ṣé wàá, either of the two, gba something náírà. I find that for numbers 1 to 10, náírà kan, náírà méjì, náírà mẹ́ta, náírà mẹ́rin 4, náírà márùn 5, náírà mẹ́fà 6, náírà méje 7 naira, náírà mẹ́jọ 8 naira, náírà mẹ́sàn 9 naira, náírà mẹ́wàá 10 naira. From 1 to 10, and even apart from naira, you typically use this format, naira this. But for 20, 30, 40, not 20 to 30, but like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, it would typically be dash naira. So as opposed to naira ogun, I would say ogun naira, ogbon naira, ogoji naira, àádọ́ta naira, ọgọ́ta naira, àádọ́rin naira, ọgọ́rin naira, àádọ́rùn naira, ọgọ́rùn naira, igba naira, naira ogun, naira ọgbọ̀n. It works, but just the way that people say it, when it's 20, 30, 40, like that, in their tens like that, then it will be that before naira. D is less or minus, le is plus. If you want to express 11 naira, there's really no 11 naira. Our denominations are 5, 10, 20, 50, 100, 200, 500, 1000. Mẹ́wàá lékan naira is a way of expressing 11 naira. In this instance, mẹ́wàá lékan, the mẹ́wàá lékan 11 is coming before the naira. But there's also another way that you can express 11 naira. You can say naira mọ́kànlá. So in this instance, the naira is coming before mọ́kànlá, which is 11. And you could also express it by saying naira mẹ́wàá lékan. Naira mẹ́wàá, 10 naira is more than 1. Le ìkan, 10 naira plus 1. Again, le is plus, dín is minus. Mẹ́wàá lékan naira. Naira mọ́kànlá. Naira mẹ́wàá lékan. These are three ways of expressing 11 naira. So from 1 to 10, they would come after naira, numbers 1 to 10. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 to 100, and then 100, 200, 300, and so on. They will come before the naira instead. But everything in between can be either. It really depends on how you express 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. The format that will sound more natural for expressing 24 will really depend on what you choose. The numbers in between the tens, this 20, 30, 40, you can choose either of the two, really depending on how you express the number. So, ogun le mẹ́rin naira. Ogun is 20 plus le mẹ́rin 24. Mẹ́rin is 4. 20 plus 4. 24. Ogun le mẹ́rin naira. So in this instance, the ogun le mẹ́rin, the 24 is coming before naira. But I can also say naira mẹ́rin le lógún, 24. In that case, I'll be using this. Or ogun naira le mẹ́rin. So I would be putting the noun before naira and then adding the rest of the numbers. It really depends on the format that you use. So for the numbers in between anyway, you can use either of these, depending on how you choose to express those numbers. Ọgbọ̀n lé mẹ́ta naira, 33 naira. Again, you won't find 11 naira and 24 naira and 33 naira. This is just so that you see. Ọgbọ̀n lé mẹ́ta naira. We have kobo. We actually the Nigerian currency is actually naira and kobo, but I don't think anybody spends kobo anymore. I would be quite surprised if you go somewhere and you take 100 kobo coins or whatever, 101 kobo coins, and you give it to a trader and they collect it from you. They will probably curse you out. So we don't. I mean, we're still supposed to, but they're just not used anymore. So they are pretty pointless now. Ọgbọ̀n lé mẹ́ta naira, 33 naira. Naira mẹ́tàlélọ́gbọ̀n, 33 naira. Ọgbọ̀n naira lé mẹ́ta, 33 naira. So it really depends. Naira márùndínlógún, 5 less than 20. Dín is less. So 5 less than 20. Márùndínlógún is márùndínlógún. But when you're shrinking that to one word like that, you make it márùndínlógún. Náírà márùndínlógún, 15 naira. Ogún naira, 20 naira. Náírà márùnlélógún or ogún náírà lé márùn or ọgbọ̀n náírà dín márùn, 30 naira less than 5, so 20. Again, it really depends on how you express it. Náírà márùnlélógún, it's not a rigid, extremely structured system, numbering system. You can express it however you like, as long as when the person makes the calculation, 30 less than 5. Oh, that's it. As long as it makes sense. Náírà márùnlélógún, ogún náírà lé márùn, 25 naira. Ogún náírà, 20 naira plus lé márùn, 20. Ọgbọ̀n náírà, 30 naira. Náírà márùnlélọ́gbọ̀n, 35 naira. Ogójì náírà, 40 naira. Náírà márùnlélógójì, 45 naira. Àádọ́ta náírà, 50 naira. Again, really depends. For 1 to 10, naira con naira is typically this. For the 20, 30, 40, 50, and so on, it's typically this. For the numbers in between, it really depends on how you choose to express it. For you to choose either of these. Ọgọ́rùn naira, 100 naira. Àádọ́fà naira, 110 naira. Ọgọ́fà naira, 120 naira. Àádọ́je naira, 130 naira. Ọgọ́je naira, 140. Àádọ́jọ naira, 150. Ọgọ́jọ naira, 160 naira. Àádọ́sàn naira, 170 naira. Ọgọ́sàn naira, 180 naira. Àádọ́wà naira, 190 naira. Igba naira, 200 naira. Just random things for you to know. Ọgọ́rùn is 100. Ọgọ́rùn or ọ̀rún. The short form of ọgọ́ta is ọ̀tá, and ọgọ́rin is ọ̀rin, and ọgọ́rùn is ọ̀rún. Not many people will know that. So ọgọ́rùn naira, 100. Igba naira, 200 naira. Ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ́gbẹ̀ta naira, 500 naira. Ẹgbẹ̀rún naira. Igba àrún, that's what ẹgbẹ̀rún is. Igba is 200 and márùn is 5. So ẹgbẹ̀rún is like igba àrún, like igba márùn, basically like 5 200s. 200 times 5, that's 1,000. Ẹgbẹ̀wá or ẹgbàá, ẹgbàá, that's igba mẹ́wàá. Igba mẹ́wàá, ẹgbẹ̀wá is because it's shrunk like that. That's why it's that's why you can't tell easily if you look at it. But igba ẹ̀wá, 200 times 10, 2,000. Ẹgbẹ̀wá or ẹgbàá. So those are the denominations that we have. The Central Bank of Nigeria changed the currency recently. So I suppose this is what the new notes look like. I'm choosing to express all this because these are important to know, I suppose. But the reality is, well, they are not so important for travel because most of the people you meet anyway, practically speaking, would express those numbers in English. Well, it depends. Let's say you're going to Oyo. For example, you want to buy fresh off the farm really, really good yams. Then you may meet people who are able to express those numbers in Yorùbá. They're able to say ẹgbẹ̀rún and all that. But let's say you're in Lagos or whatever. The trader might not even be Yorùbá. Because again, it's not just Yorùbá people in Nigeria. So 200 naira, 500 naira, like it's fine. Even if you don't know all the numbers. That's what I'm trying to say. There are also some pre-colonial terms that are still very much in use. Like àpò is how a lot of people still express 200 naira today. Not necessarily because a bag of cowries was equal to the present day 200 naira. I mean, the present day 200 naira did not even exist and cowries are not in use anymore. Àpò is 200 naira. A small bag or sack containing 200 cowries, when cowries were currency, is referred to as àpò. But people would express 200 naira this way. So don't be surprised or taken aback. Like, what is this person saying? If you hear àpò, they are saying 200 naira. You may also hear ọ̀kẹ́ kan, one large bag of cowries. That's 20,000 calories. 20,000 okekan. So just something interesting for you to know. When you hear akbukon, 200 naira. When you hear okekan, that's 20,000. Another thing that you might hear is murikon, murikon, for expressing 20 naira. And that's because of General Muritala Muhammad, and you can read up on him. But when Nigeria was still alternating between, well, it was military sequentially before it became presidential. In the military regime, it was assassinated in his car. Because we do it very often, people of other ethnic groups are also saying it as well. But when you hear Murikon, that's Muri is just the Yorubanized version of the name Muritala. One Muritala is 120 naira, basically. Or Muri Meji, 40 naira. Muri Meta, 60 naira. Muri Meri, 80 naira. Muri Marun, 100 naira. Again, that's another way. Muri Mefa, 120 naira, and all that. So you may also hear that. The one that surprises me most of all is the fact that some people still choose to use the colonial currency. That's why the fact that we no longer use shillings and pounds and pence. I mean, that's to show that colonialism wasn't too far in the past. You know, a lot of our parents that were born in the pre-colonial era, just shortly before independence in 1960 or even after, they're only just becoming grandparents. I suppose maybe the next 100 years or whatever, nobody will say it anymore, but it's still very apparent. Bong, bong is like the Yorubanized version of pounds, and shile is the Yorubanized version of shillings. Ekpini is half a penny. I really don't know it too well because obviously I was born after colonization. I don't know why lots of people still choose to use this pound shile thing. But again, really, depending on where you are, you may hear it. So don't be taken aback by it, or don't try to memorize it. Just ask for what it is. You know, like, are they saying 5 naira or 10 naira? Because to be honest with you, sometimes I find it confusing. 3 pence is toro. I don't know what 3 pence is equivalent to in naira now, but 3 pence is toro and 6 pence is shishi. And even till now, you know, you may, if somebody wants to express, oh, I don't have any money, you may hear them say, mi o ni shishi lowo. Literally, that means I don't have 6 pence. But metaphorically, they are saying they don't have any money, like even the smallest. Toro to yo mi o ni fun e. Toro to yo ba o ni gba lowo mi. Like the smallest 3 pence. 3 pennies, I suppose 3 pence. You won't get from me. So that's toro. The ekpini and all that, they are slowly dying out, I think. I mean, if you go to Oyo or some parts of Oshun, or you won't hear them that often in Lagos anyway. 12 pence is 1 shilling, and 1 shilling is 10 kobo, and 10 shillings is 1 naira. 1 naira is 100 kobo, and 1 pound is... There was a time anyway when 1 pound was equal to, not British pounds, I think it's Nigerian pounds pre-independence, was equal to 2 naira. So if you hear bon maru is 10 naira. Bon 2 naira times 5, 2 in 5 places. So that's 10 naira. Bon maru. Bon mewa is 2 in 10 places, still 20 naira. Wasn't too too long ago, I suppose. So I guess it's okay. It would die out, but don't be surprised. Like, what is shile? What is pon? This is essentially what it is. So back to what we were discussing earlier. If you want to say, will you take something naira? Literally, this is the honorific form. Honorific is what you would most likely use in a market setting. I've mentioned in one of my past videos that using honorifics is not solely dependent on age. It really depends on familiarity and position, and age is a very basic factor in the use of honorifics. You find adult women that went to the same school, that are age mates, using honorifics for one another. They are recognizing the fact that they are no longer children, and they are respecting one another, each other. So it's not really an age thing. You find women that are the same age as one another kneeling down, not all the way, but courtesying to greet one another. It's not like one of them is older than the other, or like it's, even if one of them is slightly older than the other, really depending on the gathering and the setting, it might be a way of expressing honor, just reverence for the person's age and experience. So I'll link that video so that you can see. The honorific way of expressing, will you take 5 naira? Let's say 5 is here, or 10 naira, whatever. Ṣé ẹ máa gba naira, mention the amount, márùn. Ṣé ẹ máa gba naira márùn. Ṣé ẹ máa gba ogún naira. Ẹ is the honorific. Ṣé o is the non-honorific. Ṣé o máa, and I have a video dedicated to pronouns. I broke it down to bits, so I encourage you to watch that video. I'll link it too. Ṣé o máa gba something naira. Ṣé wàá gba something naira. Ṣé o máa gba naira something. Ṣé o máa gba naira márùn, for example. Ṣé wàá gba naira márùn. If you break ẹ máa gba down, if you break the honorific version down, the ṣé is a question. If you say ẹ máa gba naira márùn, ẹ máa gba naira dash, ẹ máa gba naira márùn, for instance, that means you will take 5 naira. That's a statement. But when you had ṣé before, then you're making it a question. You had a question mark. You're making it a question. So it's no longer you will take, it's now will you take, because ṣé is here. Ṣé, question starter. Ẹ is you, plural, honorific. Ma, will. Gba, take or agree to. Naira, this. So you will take or agree to this naira. But because ṣé is here, it becomes will you rather than you will. It becomes will you take something naira. And then ṣé ẹ máa gba dash naira. Again, it's the same sentence, but this time the dash is coming before the naira. So ogún, ọgọ́ta, àádọ́ta, whatever. Ṣé ẹ máa gba dash naira. Will you take, dash naira. And this is the non-honorific form. The O is you, ma is will, or wa is you will, gba, agree to or take, naira this, or this naira. Again, for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, you mention that number and then naira. But for 1 to 10, it will be naira then the number. Naira con, naira méjì, naira, depending on the number, either of the two formats. But they mean the exact same thing, no difference. It's just that in one case, you mention the number before naira, you mention the amount before naira, and in another case, depending on the number itself, you mention the number after naira. As opposed to you will, oma, or you will, wa, gba, naira this. By adding ṣé, you're making it a question. And then there's a question mark. Ṣé oma, will you take dash naira? However, what you'd hear most often is ṣó gbà. People combine the ṣé and the o. So ṣó, she, and this letter will become one word. Ṣé ó gba náírà mẹ́wàá. That's what you'd hear. Now it's not will you take, really. It's more like will it go for. That's what you most likely hear, and I'll break it down soon. So ṣé ó gba náírà this or ṣé ó gba this náírà, again depending on the amount, the number, is more popular as opposed to ṣé ẹ máa gba, ṣé ó gba or ṣé ó gba. Ṣé, question starter, o is it, gba, agree or go for, then náírà dash the amount, or ṣé ó gba dash náírà, the amount náírà. Will it agree? Gba is a versatile word. It could be accept, it could be go for, it could be agree. In this case, it's like agree or like go for. So when you say ṣó gba náírà this or ṣó gba this náírà, you're expressing will it agree. More like will it go for, sounds better anyway. Will it go for something náírà? Will it go for something náírà? Ṣó gba náírà this or ṣó gba this náírà? Will it go for that amount? That's what you would hear more often than will you take. Most of the time, the question is not directed to the trader, in that will you take. It's interesting. Instead, more commonly, people would ask, will it go for that amount? Will I get it for that amount? So to say, as opposed to will you give it to me for that amount? Share magba, will you can express it that way as well. It's perfectly fine. It's not awkward in any way. But as far as use, shogba or sheo, if you don't want to combine she and o and shrink it to one word, sho. If you don't want to remove this, you want to separate them like they are. She ogba naira this or shogba this naira. Again, the either of the two, depending on the number itself. And I've explained like a short tip for the format that you typically use. You would be asking the question about the item. You wouldn't necessarily, with this format, you wouldn't be asking the trader, will you give it to me for that amount? You'll be asking, will it go? Will it be sold? Or will it go for that amount? Basically. So this is more popular and used than will you take this naira. So that's how to offer a price. Eloni egberun marun 5,000 naira. Egberun igba arun egberun, right? 200 igba times 5 1,000, right? Igba marun egberun marun 1,000 times 5 5,000. Eloni egberun marun shogba shogba or shogba if you want to combine. There are two short words anyway, you don't have to. Shogba or shogba egberun merin. Will you take 4,000 instead? Will it go for 4,000 instead? Or if you like, you could say share magba egberun merin. Will you take? I suppose that's not uncommon to hear too, but as far as the one that you hear more commonly, it'd be the shogba this naira, shogba that naira, shogba egberun merin, shogba egberun meta, shogba egberun kan 1,000 naira, 1,000 naira, shogba egberun kan naira, shogba egberun kan, or will it go for 1,000? Many people would even leave the naira out. Shogba egberun kan, shogba. So will it go for that amount? That's how to offer a price. Shogba. And depending on the trader, they may agree, they may not. If you hear I think I've addressed it in the past. Is another way that we express no. It's very old, from the days of non-nasal, non-verbal communication. It's really old. So is yes, is no. So something for you, or just that double sound like that, right, one right after the other. No, oh. The person, the O is even for emphasis, like, oh, they are agreeing with you or something. But simply is a way of expressing yes. So the trader might say ogba, like it agrees. You say shogba, say ogba, it agrees, you can take it. Kogba, it does not agree, or it does not go for that amount, you can't take it. Ogba, it agrees, it goes for that amount, that's fine. Kogba, it does not agree, it does not go for that amount. If you're saying share magba, for example, as well, or even shogba too, beni is yes, beni is yes, beko is no, rara is no, oti is no. We have different ways of expressing no. I suppose that's a good thing. Beni, yes, beko, no, rara, no, oti, no. Emu, take it. Emu, take. If the trader says that, it is also a way of agreeing with you. Mu is take. U is it. You're getting the third person singular pronoun from the last vowel of the preceding verb. I've expressed this in detail, so I'm going to link it for you to check out. Eba mi ra is buy it from me. Ba is to like help. Me is me. Ra, buy it. It's like help me buy it. Really, if you look at it. Eba mi, When you include e is honorific. When you exclude e is non-honorific. Mu, emu, eba mi ra, buy it from me. Help me buy it. So that's what it is when you transliterate. But when you translate, it's like buy it from me. Eba mi ra, help me buy it from me. So these are statements that you might hear. Ogba, kogba, bẹ́ẹ̀ni, bẹ́ẹ̀kọ́, rárá, oti, emu, eba mi ra. They might even say something like oti won, oh, eba mi ra, oti won, like buy it from me. It's expensive now. They're saying where they typically get it from, because again, they're not pulling the product out of their hairs. In certain cases, they have to buy it too. So when you say oti won, it's like one could be expensive, it could be rare. Most of the time, people use it to express it expensive. So, oh, it's expensive now, oti won, or oti won, like it is rare now, it is hard to find now. Typically, when things are rare, they become more expensive because they are rare. Oti won, you may hear that as well. So I'm going to leave it at that. I hope your market vocabulary is coming together. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you for watching and for your time. Thank you for your support. And I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy the rest of your day and bye for now.
Àṣẹ o.